Hello, trading is closed on the 4th of January, 2022. We always have our disclaimer first. It's my trading plan for Wednesday, January 5. Please follow the rules of my channel. Please remember I can be wrong and all trades should be at your own risk. We said unless we gapped up smartly, we should see 47.72.48. We gapped up smartly, so the time is off the table, not the number, which we'll add to the list. We did come awfully close to it today and should print at some time. Look for the pattern with the early low, which is here. Tomorrow should have the early high. During the day, MEJT said this was a false drop. Said as the market was dropping all day, so the drop was false. We overtake this line, and we did. So that's already played out. Well, most of the time I have a pretty good plan for what I'm going to do the next day. This is not one of those times. Yesterday, bears had all they need to put the pulls away. All they had to do was continue dropping here, and then said they went out of their way to rally, implying there was more of a rally ahead. Today, bulls had all they needed to put the pairs away. They gapped up, they were holding over all these highs, and right at the end they get a wall of the close. They go out of their way to close under all the prior highs, which is a rejection of this high. Now, of course, that's a wall. We could just gap over it tomorrow. It happens pretty often. But when you're off to the races, hitting a new high, closing over the highs of the prior consolidation, and you go out of your way to negate that, more often than not, it means you have more work to do on the downside. Now, I don't really have a good count, one that I'm perfectly happy with. I think this is the most likely count. Here was the high we had last week. This could be an A. There could be an ABC. And when you complete wave C down, you could just continue going higher. The only way out of it would be if wave C down, which could have completed here but probably hasn't, is if wave C down's a doozy on the downside. I think that's the most likely count, but it certainly isn't the only count. I kind of hesitate to show the next count because I don't think it's right. But if we do tank from here, we've been making higher highs and not being able to hold them because we're making an expanding triangle here. It implies we're going to drop in a straight line. I don't think it breaks any rules. Whole count looks forced. I admit I don't believe it. I'm just mentioning it in case we do tank. That would explain it. I'm not risking any money on it. Well, tomorrow's pattern has the early high. We could still gap down. Market continues to hit new highs. Breadth continues to improve. It's not the way the market should act if we're going to collapse. Market continues to reject moves to new highs. The volume is poor. It's not the way the market should act if we're going to race ahead either. We hit a new all-time high and close red. Unless we gap and promptly overtake the high of day, should see lower prices tomorrow regardless of how we close. Unless this gets reversed promptly tomorrow, I think we should trade lower. Today is usually a positive day. It's getting harder and harder to go along with the top in this area, which is what I thought would happen. But until the idea is completely killed, it remains alive, even though it becomes less and less likely every day. So tomorrow has the early high, but we think there's more work to do on the downside. Only gapping up smartly would kill that idea, and that's today's call.